in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. In the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to this early morning breakfast show with myself, Stevo, where we will be discussing Game Week 2. But before we start, what a waste of a tenner. Absolute waste of a tenner. I put on several bets for last night's Wolves versus Man City game, and guess what? Nothing. Not a frigging penny I won yesterday. Now, admittedly, I put down a lot of bets which were kind of relevant to this specific game week. Basically, hat-tricks. So I put like hat-tricks down for Jimenez, Sterling, De Bruyne, Jesus. You get the idea. Anytime goal scorer for Traore. I even did like a bit of a fun bet. First goal scorer, Saiss. Correct scoreline and first time goal scorer, all this malarkey. None of it came through. Even the I normally do quite well on the half-time, full-time betting one, but once again, useless. To be fair, I've seen the highlights. Again, this is just highlights, but I think from what I could tell, Man City were more at it. I found the... in the words of Dad's Army, Mr. Reed, stupid boy, Saiss, silly challenge on De Bruyne, prat, basically, and conceded that early penalty. And I just think, you're going to give away a goal to Man City like that, you're asking for trouble. And De Bruyne expertly put the ball away. Of course, goals coming from Foden. I only found out actually very early on this morning when I was reading about the match that Jesus got a goal like in the 91st minute or something. Like, Jason's luck. But he got his standard goal. That's what Jesus is like. Jimenez. He's going to get you a goal every single time he plays. He'll always... In fact, Jimenez and Jesus are basically always going to get you an attacking return if they start a match, no matter what. Whether it's an assist or a goal, they'll always get you something. And Jesus, of course, getting his standard goal. Of course, Sterling coming in with an assist for Jason. And yeah, I'll be interested to... I think Jason should be very happy with his wildcard team. Of course, the game before that was the Aston Villa 1, Sheffield United 0. And again, Egan. Who owns Egan? Me. Getting sent off. When I saw the result this morning, just rolled my eyes. Just typical. 12 minutes as well. 12 minutes that game had. Lundstrom having his penalty saved by Martinez. I did actually tip Martinez as someone to be everybody wildcarding. He's in my team, potentially to bring in on your wildcard. The numbers suggested that Aston Villa were doing a hell of a lot better in Project Restart. They've already started this season with a clean sheet versus Sheffield United. Sheffield United, okay, despite what happened in the game with the player being sent off and the penalty being saved. Oh dear. They're not looking. They haven't impressed me whatsoever. They're on the book. They're in the book. My diary. Whether you're aware or not, I'm keeping a diary. And in game week 1, I wrote down basically useless teams. 3 of them being West Brom, Fulham, West Ham. You can now add Sheffield United to that. Those 4 teams are absolutely useless. And just avoid those players like the plague. Just avoid players from those teams like the plague as it stands right now. And maybe even target them, whoever's playing them in the near future. Just target their opponents, basically. Bring them in. Yeah, so good morning. Let's say Aqua Lacqua. What a bizarre name. Morning pal. FPL Anderson Egg Dude. Nick Treadwell. Semi-Sweet Potato. FPL Sum. Yeah, I've activated my wildcard. We'll go into that in a minute. I had to do it. In fact, do you know what? I'm overjoyed that I've hit it. The Scrambler 28. I have no idea who you are. I do not recognise that name whatsoever. Welcome. Eric Castillo, Gavin Gould, Nick Reed was just about to start the Dre's Era podcast, which beautifully brings me on to this. So if you're unaware or not, yesterday Dre's Era Uncensored uploaded the podcast he did with me. Unfortunately, I can't post the link in the chat, would you believe? It's ridiculous. So I can't actually upload it whatsoever. But the good thing is that what I recommend you do is just go on YouTube. I mean, he's done it all week advertising it, but just go to YouTube, Dre's there at Uncensored, and it will be there. And if you want to listen to essentially my life story, by all means, it's a long podcast. Not going to lie, it's not for the faint-hearted, but it's basically near enough 3 hours of me chatting absolute nonsense. But again, if you're interested, by all means, go listen to it. Funny enough, I'm going to be a guest. I'm going to be a guest on the Llama Lounge on Thursday. So this Thursday on the Llama Lounge, friends of the show, Llama, Boona and Matt, they've kindly asked me to go on there, and they've, funny enough, they sent me a few questions to answer, and not about fantasy football. So I think that episode hopefully will be more about anything but fantasy football, because I prefer, like I say, sometimes doing them more than I do chat about fantasy football. But talking of fantasy football, oh, can't be doing that. Can't have a laugh. In fact, I'll bring it up in a minute. Yeah, just to let everybody know, you can't have a laugh in fantasy football. You're not allowed to have a joke. You can't mess about or anything. You've got to be really serious. Got to be serious. AJ, I'm ranked 66th on the Elite FPL Community League. That's incredible. Well done. Very good. Dave Lister, morning. FPL Anderson, I've also triggered the wildcard. Unfortunately, plans change. They do. In my case, what did I write down here? In game week 1, players I'm worried in my team: Saka, Ings, Egan, Mane. Well, okay, Ings and Mane came up trumps this specific game week, but I lost value on Ings, Mane, Saka, so that was 0.3 down the pan. I couldn't do what I wanted to do, so decided stuff it. Hit that wild card now, but that's my 55 points that totals up to on screen right now, and yeah, happy with it. What can I say? Shock result with McCarthy. Trent and Robbo coming in with double clean sheets. Egan, well, red card, brilliant. Saka actually played, got me a whopping. He got the assist of the assister. Aubameyang, we all know about. Mane coming in with 2 goals, quite extraordinary. The history did just about edge his way, but I just thought go with safety. St. Maximin, yeah, injured. Wilson, useless. Ings coming in with 2 goals in that thriller at St Mary's. And then Werner, of course, we all know what happened there. It looked lively, but just that red card summed it all. But yeah, pretty meh, to be honest with you. Like FPL Anderson said, by all means, hit that like button. If you are brand new around here, hit that subscribe button. Ray Joyce making the point with a certain virus going around at the moment. I'm saving the wild card. I wouldn't worry about it, my friend. I wouldn't worry about it whatsoever. Ashley Young, the wild card is now active. Good on you. The Scrambler, DCL Ings from a wildcard team. Any thoughts and input are appreciated. Toss of the coin, but I personally go with DCL because Everton are on fire at the moment. Everton are absolute freaks of nature. Gavin Gold, is Trent and Robertson vital for wildcard? No. Ray Joyce saying DCL this season's Pookie type train. No, mate. No. That's a ridiculous statement. Trust me. Everton at the moment are enjoying themselves. They're having a lot of fun. Forget that statement. They're gonna push on. FPL Anderson, I had no choice to wildcard. I have so many red players and injured players. What a mare. I'm glad I had Kane in my team. Yeah, extraordinary. Tuka. First week was so good, this week sucked. No Mitrovic or Son kill me. Well, what do you expect? Aussie boy, morning. Gavin Gould's wildcard so far. Guaita, Keane, Robertson, Taylor, Son, Trossard, Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, Daniel P. Who the hell's Daniel P? Mitrovic, Wood, Jimenez. Sounds like you're knee-jerking there, my friend. A lot of knee-jerk. I mean, I don't know what your final team's going to be. I've just played my wild card to catch all the price rises. I'm hoping potentially that I get a 0.12 rise out of somebody, so I may be able to sell them on. That's what I'm hoping. Alan Clark, loving Jesus. Absolutely. The Scrambler in reply. DCL is cheaper. His form has form but tougher fixtures. Ings has the better fixtures, but Southampton is dreadful. What do you guys think? Well, I completely agree with you. It's literally just a toss of the coin. Ariel Cohen. What about Man United players? Wait and see. I'd trust City more. Mr. Reed, does he really? Twiddle owns Egan too. You beating him yet? Eric Castillo, how you feel about Zaha? I've got him. Brilliant player. In form, doing really well. He's in. Have you seen his fixtures? He's a freak. FPL Fozzy, at what point does a -12 warrant a wildcard? Well, I've hit it. I hit the wildcard because, to be completely honest with you, I really didn't want to take a big hit. It would have been 16-point hit. Forget it. Kennedy Martin, thoughts on Harvey Barnes? He looks good, as Harbour Boy's saying, but do you know what? Let's just quickly go through reviewing, or me looking over the game week that's just happened, because a lot of talking points that happened this week. We start off with this ludicrous Saturday. Saturday was absolutely mad. Of course, starting with Everton versus West Brom. Everton 5, West Brom 2. I mean, what can you say? I mean, Everton looked like they were having so much fun. A lot of people saying, which is true, West Brom actually looked really good until they had the sending off. They just capitulated in the second half. Is there something to read into that? I don't think so. Everton are in just such free-flowing form. Richarlison is looking like he's having a right laugh at the moment. Calvert-Lewin with 3, Keane, Rodriguez 1 each. Diangana, Pereira with the goals for West Brom. Richarlison with 3 assists, Rodriguez with 1, Pereira with another. Quite extraordinary. And Everton for me at the moment, jump on. At Leeds now, 4-3. Click, of course, with the goal and assist. Penalty, of course, the goal. Helder Costa with 2 goals. Bamford with 1 goal, 2 assists. Mitrovic. Reed with the goals for Fulham there. Bamford 2 assists. Click with 1. Byron, Anguissa and Tete with 1. The first big shock result of the weekend, of course, was Man United losing 3-1 to Crystal Palace. I just couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe that. Crystal Palace did a job. They did an excellent job. Zaha with 2 goals, one of them being a penalty in Townsend. Ayew, Schlupp and Mitchell coming in with the assists. Van der Beek scoring that 1 goal there. But yeah, by all accounts, Jason and various other Man United fans just were very, very disappointed. And this happened last season as well. Man United started off really, really slow for the first 10, 12 games. Keep an eye on that, is what I would say. I would personally just not touch United as it stands right now. Liverpool and Man City, get on them. Liverpool and Man City, in my opinion. Arsenal 2, West Ham 1, and Nketiah with the last minute goal. You can thank me for that after I said he was useless on the stream. scoring that last minute goal. Antonio with West Ham's assist coming from Mr. Popular, captain Aubameyang, Ceballos, Fredericks for West Ham. And now this extraordinary game between Southampton and Spurs. You just couldn't make this up. Although I have seen, to be fair, it was essentially just Son was extremely clinical, very clinical. I've seen the goals. Kane just popped it over. Son ran onto it and scored. That was all it was. There was nothing to suggest to me where I thought, oh my God, Son is a must-have. If you owned him, well done. But Southampton, useless. Absolutely useless. And they just allowed this to happen. Kane with an incredible 4 assists and a goal. Lamela with the other. I mean, Kane's goal, again, comes off the post or whatever it was, saved by McCarthy. Point being, it was deflected out to Kane. And he scored. Ings with 2 goals. One being a penalty. Walker Peters and Janempo, whatever his stupid name is, getting the assist. Another shock result here. Just jump off Newcastle now. They blow hot and cold. However, Brighton, on the other hand, it's a shame Lamptey went off injured. I don't know if there's much news on him. Will he be fit for the weekend? Keep your eyes on him. If he is declared fit, I'm getting him in. Mopay with 2, Connolly with 1, Lamptey with the assist, Trossard and Mopay the other 2 assists, and Lamptey coming off in the 58th minute. Would have been guaranteed 3 bonus, I think, if he'd have stayed on the pitch with a clean sheet there. And he's a player to watch. I know Booner during the Llama Lounge was praising him a lot. Jason keeps going on about him. Get on him. If he's fit. And Mane 2 goals. I haven't actually, funny enough, seen, the only highlights I haven't seen is of this game. Mane with 2 goals. Firmino. At the end of the day, the game sounded like it was going to end up 1-0 either way when they both had 11 men on the pitch. Christensen gets sent off. That was it. That was the turning point. Jorginho having his penalty saved by Alisson, which was absolutely superb. Leicester Burnley, I did watch the game. Well, up to the 80th minute, I just thought, forget it. I was amazed to see us, Burnley, actually attack. We were free. It was free flowing. We were actually wanting to score goals. I couldn't believe it. But Leicester's quality just shined through. Wood with a fantastic finish for Burnley. And then the flaming doors just opened. Pratt, Barnes, Justin with that goal. Get lost. 2 attacking returns in 2 games. I'll tell you who does look good. This Castagna. Oh, he looks a player. If he was 5 million, I'd seriously consider him. Now, was it because Burnley just allowed him to bomb down the wings and everything? I don't know. But what I saw of him, superb. Absolutely superb. And then obviously last night's games we'd already discussed. Aston Villa 1, Sheffield United 0, and Man City winning 3-1 away at Wolves, setting a statement, and they're looking good. In fact, they're looking brilliantly. See what people are saying in chat before we continue. Alan Satak saying, hopefully Caballero will start from now on. I don't know. They've got this Mendy in now. So FPL Anderson, do you think that Burnley as a defence is still good enough to reply on like last season? Yes, I do. We're always going to get, with clean sheets. I don't think we'll get 15 like that. Was it 15 or 16 last season? I think we'll get between 10 and 14, 10 and 15, something like that. But yeah, I think stick with. I mean, I would avoid Burnley like the plague personally, but they're a bit too expensive for me. Although Charlie Taylor 4.5 can't go wrong. Luke Phillips, which goalkeeper are you going with? Well, I'm personally going with Martinez. If you really want to go with Martinez, go with it. I'm just personally thinking that Martinez did absolutely amazing for Arsenal. Aston Villa are looking good defensively, and the numbers suggest that Martinez could be good. Lucas Burnett, thoughts on Werner to Jimenez in Gameweek 4 if Werner blanks against West Brom? I think that's a very good move. A very good move. I think certainly this weekend will be telling regarding Werner. Archduchy of Austria. I wake up at 8 a.m. and Steve-O is already live already. Yep. Some people won't like it. What happens to Castagno when Ricardo comes back? Nothing. He plays. He will be playing. It's Justin that will be gone. Vignesh on a wild card. Foden, Greenwood or James Rodriguez. Knee jerk would say Rodriguez. I don't know if Foden is going to be a definite starter. I really don't know. But Rodriguez for now. Antonio saying Liverpool will beat Arsenal next week. Yeah. Although, to be fair, they're Arsenal aren't exactly any mugs against what do you call it? They're no mugs. They're no mugs against the bigger teams. Bravo Gustavo. I'm on a wild card and I like my team, but I have no City coverage. Mistake. Yes. Aussie boy making the point. Thiago looked really good. Yes, he did. And I'm telling you now, I've got a plan. I'll show you in a minute. Not it's going to come to play, fruition. But Hassan, how should I put my bench the next week? Costa from Leeds or Reece James? Bench. Oh, who should I put on my bench? Who have Leeds got? I don't have a clue. Who have Leeds got next week or this Saturday? More to the point. Let's check. They have got Sheffield United. I'd play Reece James personally. I'd personally play Reece James myself. So yeah, on to my wild card right now. Here we go. Everybody slaughter it like they did with Jason. Everybody's an expert in FPL. Can't go with your own decisions. I got again. This team isn't solidified. I'm deliberately playing the price rise game until Saturday morning when I can kind of just do some basic changes. But this is pretty much the team I'm going with. Martinez, Trent, Saiss, Robertson, Sterling, De Bruyne, Click, Rodriguez, Zaha, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, and then on the bench Mitchell, Justin, and Davis. However, some quick thought processes are coming into play here. So, and this is my point about Jason's team. Jason's team is, as I said, excellent. He's got an excellent plan. Whether he sticks with it, I have no idea. I think this weekend he may actually swap out Jesus for Werner. That's what I think he's going to do. In fact, how much is Jesus? If he's 9.5, that is what Jason will do. I'm telling you now. Jesus is 9.5. So that's Jason's transfer this week. So mark my words, that is what Jason's doing. He did say he was going to bring in Salah for Aubameyang. I don't think he'll do that. What was I doing here? For me, it's just a simple. I've got I think it's like 0.6 in the bank. So my thought processes are this. So it would be either I can swap out Sterling for Salah, captain Salah versus Arsenal, which is nothing in the bank at that point, and I've only got one City coverage. But to be honest with you, again, from what I've seen on the highlights, highlights are nothing here, but De Bruyne is the main man for now. So yeah, it would be Salah coming in for home fixtures, and then Sterling coming in for away fixtures while Salah's at home. That's the thought process anyway. That's what I'm thinking. The other one would be, keep that. I want to get Werner in, so thinking logically, get rid of Richarlison, get rid of Rodriguez, potentially for Chelsea coverage, if he's declared fit, which is unlikely, but if he is, there's a chance I could go with Pulisic in there, potentially captain him. Potentially captain Pulisic, and then I got 7.7 in the bank for whatever. Again, none of this is foolproof, but what I can say for now, like I said, I'm just playing the price rise game at the moment, or the price fall game, whatever, the price change game. And the players that I'm almost certainly going to be having in this team: Robbo, Trent, Saiss, Zaha, De Bruyne. Those 5 are for definite. I could get rid of Justin, bring in another 4 million. In fact, here's a tip. Steve-O's tip. If you are interested in Burnley, if this news starts picking up about Tarkowski, I'll tell you what, done for Burnley, 4 million, or he's 4.1, no he's not, he's 4 million. That could help me upgrade Richarlison. No, it won't. I was going to say upgrade Richarlison to Werner, but I'm 0.2 out. Yeah, 0.2 out. So you never know. Werner may drop down by 0.3 this week. Unlikely. Or I could just have Pulisic in for Rodriguez for that coverage against Chelsea, but against thingy. But once again, it's very very difficult when you've lost like I said, I've lost 0.3. That 0.3 for me, well, technically, yeah, it was 0.3. No, it was 0.2, sorry, that I've lost. So that 0.2 could easily have been Richarlison to Werner, because Werner will drop this week. So that's how 0.2 drop has affected my thought process going into this week, because I think it's going to be a very tough game against Crystal Palace, Everton away, and their fixtures though are excellent. Brighton, and then Liverpool, Southampton, Newcastle. I mean, have we missed their points already? Who knows? But at the moment, they're looking like they're having fun. But yeah, I'm to be honest with you, like I've written in my diary here. Essentially, I am very happy with the wildcard. I'm happy that I have wildcarded full stop, to be completely honest. Very happy indeed with what I've done. But yeah, having Justin in the team maybe could go up by 0.2 this week, and I could sell. It's all about playing the price. I think again, I've got till Saturday. I couldn't care less, to be honest with you, right now. So, but overall, pretty happy with that team. Like I said, the majority of those players I'm pretty much going to stick with. And, but like I say, Sterling out for Salah could be an option. A morning Gabriel Derup. Trigger Lips, is that the real Trigger Lips? Justin Good for another 4 weeks? Yes he is. Antonio Akango. Hey, guess what, everybody? Get this down in the diary, everybody. I might just write it down now. According to Antoine, Liverpool are better than Burnley. Get that in your diary, everybody. Jesus. Our man Dylan, I'm 4.1 overall rank million. Well, you're a million behind me. Robert Novak, you can still gain 0.2 by the end of the week. Yeah, absolutely. Dennis Cardarcaris. Hi, I'm from Australia. Why not Burke? 4.5 and played up front. He plays for Sheffield United. Useless. I'm not interested in Sheffield United. Robert Dinsmore. How about Ing Stevo? I'm not a fan of what they called Southampton. Gavin Gould. Robinson out. Dean, you're in. I love I'm telling you now, Liverpool are, because of this Thiago move, I think I'd have him. I'd have what do you call it? I'd have double Liverpool, to be honest with you. Castagna and James Rodriguez or Digne and Zaha. Digne and Zaha, personally. Gareth Williams would look at Podence in mid and also Digne in defence and play 4-4-2. I'm not interested in having 4 defenders. Really not interested in that. Trigger lips, no Tottenham. Not interested. Not interested in Tottenham. They played Southampton, who just allowed them to score. It wouldn't surprise me against Newcastle on Sunday, isn't it? That they'll end up probably drawing. Newcastle played better away from home. And it wouldn't surprise me if Spurs capitulate in that. Absolutely useless. I'm not interested by him whatsoever. Let's get a few callers on. Be ready, be unmuted. So, let's bring on the first call. Let's bring on Aussie Boy. I haven't spoken to him for a long time. Hello, Aussie Boy. Haven't spoken for a long time. Where have you been?
Well, I've been in Discord quite a lot. It's just I haven't come on the streams. I just haven't had time.
You've hit the wildcard, I believe.
No, I have not. No, I haven't hit the wildcard.
How's the season gone so far for you?
It's been alright. I had like an above average week last week, and I had a pretty solid week this week. I had 67 points this week, so
wow,
yeah, it's not too bad.
How are you ranked at the moment? Because last season was an absolute disaster for you.
Yeah, well, I kind of got up a bit by the end, but yeah, at the moment I'm probably in the top million, which is all right at this point of the season.
Looking at your team here right now, St. Maximin is an issue for you.
Yeah, he's gone already for Podence.
Oh, you brought in Podence, did you?
Yeah, I've made 2 transfers on a -4 this week. I'll put in what it looks like now. 1 second. Shouldn't take long. Here we are.
You're confident with Podence going to be a guaranteed start?
Yeah,
he looked good last night.
I think if he's gonna do well, he'll do it now because of the good run of fixtures, and I think he's first choice. He's probably the second best forward they have at the moment. So
you brought in Walker.
Yeah.
Who did you bring in for? Who did you bring? Who did you transfer? Sorry, Podence in, yeah, and who else?
I got De Bruyne for Aubameyang, and I got Podence for Saint Maximin. Yeah.
For free?
It's lots of ugly colours on the bench, I know. Was
it for free, the transfers?
Pardon?
For free?
No, well, I had 1 hit, so I did -4.
Are you confident with De Bruyne captain?
Well, I don't know who. It's either going to be him or Werner. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, very popular choice ahead of West Brom this weekend. Do you think Werner's... I know he's had 2 games against, let's be honest here, Liverpool, very tough fixture, especially with 10 men. The game before that was against who? Who did Chelsea have first game?
Brighton, I think.
Ah, yes, yeah. And again, another tough game. He got what was an assist in that game, wasn't he? He hasn't got off the mark yet.
Went down for a penalty.
Do you think
he looked good again? He looked good, so
he's looking good. Are you expecting him to take off at some point?
I think this game is the game he will, if ever, because it's West Brom. They're conceding goals left, right, and centre, and I think it's now would make sense for him. I guess he's looking good as well. Quite fast.
Morning from Paulie. You're doing a 10-mile walk. You mean? Paulie, it's a 10-mile walk. You've put work. Trigger Lips. It wouldn't surprise me if there's about 20,000 different accounts for you. I mean, the amount of trolling that I get. My goodness. I asked them. I'm not going to name them, but I did ask a quote-unquote popular channel about the trolling that they receive and everything and what they do, and just to tell everybody now, you're getting blocked. End of discussion. I will read the comment, and if it's any form of attack on myself or Jason, you're being blocked. The funny thing is that one of the people that we blocked came crawling back, essentially crying, "Stuff ya." Aussie boy, Liverpool versus Chelsea. Were you impressed, or was it just the turning point of Christensen being sent off that turned the game?
Yeah, so I think we were probably playing better in the first half. Both teams were pretty good defensively, and no one could really break through. But then with the red card, I think that really turned the tide, because against the you can't be playing against the champions with 10 men. It's really
I'm personally thinking that you've mentioned in the chat that Thiago Silva is looking great. Your thoughts on Thiago Silva now maybe helping that Liverpool defence keep more clean sheets?
Thiago Alcantara. Yeah, he looks I think he's very good. He suits our play style. His passing, I think, is probably one of the best in the world. So he looks really good. It's like kind of a holding midfielder, and tracking back as well. And he can just make split second decisions, and just execute some really good passes. And he's gonna really help there.
Looking ahead to the weekend, Liverpool versus Arsenal. What are your thoughts on that specific game?
I think we're at home, so I think we could run riot. But I don't know. It all depends how they play. I think if they sit back, then they can beat us, because with Aubameyang on the counter, I think it's very hard to stop. Especially because he's on Trent's side, he's poor defensively compared to, the other defenders in our team, and I think that he could do well if they just sit back and counter. But then again, if we have Thiago in there, he's pretty good at finding holes in defenses. So it could either be very close, or it could be, I think we could just run over them. I don't know if it will be I don't think they could win.
No, I'm expecting a very tough game. Although, could Salah on the left-hand side up against Kolasinac? Is Kolasinac on the left?
Kolasinac is on the left, but Salah, So I think
So
is Kolasinac playing though, or isn't he leaving? Or
who's that? Sorry, Kolasinac. I don't know. He played the other day. I'm assuming that he's going to play this weekend.
He's out. Is he still injured?
Who's that?
Is Tierney still injured?
I don't know if he's still injured, but the fact that he got injured in the warm up, I'm only just basing it on an assumption. But if Tierney is out, then Liverpool may have a lot of fun. Aussie boy, just one quick final question. The start to the season so far, are you panicking like a few people, or are you pretty happy with the way everything's gone so far?
Sorry, Steve. I have to shoot off. Sorry about this. To shoot up.
Cheers. Right. See you later. Well, then I'll ask the questions of Trigger Lips. Trigger Lips, I've never ever seen you on our show. Now, admittedly, this is the morning show, so it may have just popped up. It'd be interesting to know if how you came across the channel. Very interesting, because I used is the key word, used to follow you intently on your website, and then you did that wonderful, this is ages ago now, you did that wonderful post about not investing a lot of time in fantasy football, you're getting sick of it or something, or I can't remember specifically, but do you know what, I'd like to talk to you about it. So if you want to join on the Discord, the link is in the description, just join Discord, come in the waiting room, and we'll be able to have a conversation. But FPL Anderson, morning FPL Anderson.
Morning, Steve. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Yesterday night, talk to me.
Yeah, so I decided that I wanted to kind of watch them, see what happened. De Bruyne did his usual business. I was obviously keener on Sterling because everyone's piling on KDB. And I think the game changed when there was the penalty and the injuries that Wolves sustained early on. Just kind of knocked them. But it was inevitable, to be fair, that Man City was going to do the business. So, yeah. I brought in a Sterling and I did a couple of others as well. I've forgotten, mate. I did a -4 at the beginning as soon as the transfers were available. And then lo and behold, I have a nightmare because I waited to hold for 2 last week to do the -4. I've gone and done the -4, and then obviously all the flags have started. So if anyone wants to take note from that, don't do early transfers.
And this is your wildcard team?
Yes.
I mean, it's the usual line. It's very knee-jerky, but the one player that, in fact, do you know what? Let's have a bit of fun. And before we have a bit of fun, Triggerlips is saying this is his first time he saw the rant on Twitter. Do you know, just a quick one on that. Like, I don't want to keep going on about it, but, you know, I'm not suggesting for 1 minute when I put that rant up, I was deliberately trying to attract attention to this specific show. But I am aware of how social media works. In fact, go to Dre's Air Uncensored and you'll find out my opinions on social media. But anyhow, I am fully aware of how social media works, and certain things like that does grab people's attention. But thank you anyway. I'm glad you're here. That was it. Triglep saying, yeah, it was very hard doing work and the blog as well. It is very hard doing blogs and everything. I can blink in my imagination. I used to read it all the time. Brilliant. In fact, I used to do all my captaincies based on your polls, and you used to do a who's doing better. Is it your site, or is it your fans for your site, or is it fantasy football scout? And you came out on top. Very funny. My goodness. Geordie Kev is here, Statman. What the hell is going over here?
Evo.
Get on here, Geordie Kev. Get on here and talk to us about how's it all going down. Harbour Boy from New Zealand as well. I love the Triglets podcast. It's in my podcast feed. Gavin Gould's 81,000th in the world. Well done. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I'll ask you immediately, FPL Anderson. Jack Race is saying, no Spurs assets, pal. What's going on, Anderson? Why haven't you got Spurs assets?
Don't know. I always had the intention of taking Kane out, and I had Lloris in goal. But I've just posted the actual team prior to the wildcard so that you can actually have a look at it to see what I could have even done. Because I feel like I was backed into a corner with the squad I had.
Okay, let's be real here. Not that they weren't in the first place. But here's a question for everybody, just quickly. In fact, quick question for chat, right? I'm going to bring up FPL Anderson's wildcard team, which is here. So everybody in chat now. Oh, and by the way, Trigger Lips, essentially Discord, you just click on a link which is in the chat. And there's just follow the links basically, and hopefully you'll be able to do it and come live on air. But it really doesn't matter. I'm not holding a gun to your head. It's a pleasure you being here, my friend. So, of this, Mr. Anderson's wildcard is up, or FPL Anderson's wildcard is up on screen right now. Which player, for me, stands out like a smack in the face? People in chat, let me know what you think is the player in that team up on screen right now. This is FPL Anderson's wildcard team, which essentially is just smacking me in the face. But there we are. I will bring up your last team, which is last game week's team, which was, of course, game week 2. And here it is. So, is that Lloris in goal?
Yes, it was.
You had Lloris. Lloris. My goodness.
But
Wow.
this is why I asked that question in the chat about the Burnley defence, because my intention from game week 1 was always to get Pope as a set and forget for the season. And I wanted the price point, which is another reason I went for Kane. I wanted set price points to be able to have the movement to do stuff. But obviously now my hand's been turned with the wild card, which I didn't want to do. But I was already on a -4 before Tierney got injured and before Egan got sent off and Basuma.
When did you get Decore in?
Start of the season.
Oh, you had him immediately. So, I mean, when I say red flags, I mean for myself. So the players that stand out for me, where I just think, Lloris holding up a lot of money, but you said about your plan. Egan, Sheffield United, useless. Basuma, well, we all know what's happened there. Decore, oh God. St Maximin, that's 5 players from my point of view. Werner Kane, they're very good front 3, front 2. Then you've got Tierney, that's 6. Who's that on the bench on the far right? On the Aston Villa? Is it Aston Villa player? Webster, is that?
Yeah, it's a striker, Vasilev, or
whoever it is.
He went out on loan, but the reason I got him was to stop going for the key ones, like, for example, Brewster. Whereas if he didn't move, he would take up, obviously, the Liverpool spot, but then people would jump off him and I'd lose money. So I've gone for a player that's not going to lose me money.
With this wildcard team, I mean, I look at it, I just think it's stunning. I mean, in answer to, so I asked the question, which of this team up on screen right now stands out? Which player do I think, oh, what the hell have you gone with that for? And congratulations to Archdouche, Peter Peters. You got it bang on. Nick Pope. You've just said that you're going to be bringing in Nick Pope. That was your original plan from like before the season even kicked off. Why Nick Pope?
Because of how consistent he was last year.
Yep.
And he was obviously one of the better, or the best, 4.5 last year. And differential, in fact, as far as I'm concerned, a lot of people won't be going on him because of the fact he's gone up in price. So I wanted to jump on that straight away. Yeah, he went to 5.5 at the start of this season, so he went up a million.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant as in price rising, I was going to say.
Yeah, no. I'd thought from seeing everyone else, there was a lot of talk of, he's out, he's too high, I aren't having him. And that immediately made me think, right, differential straight away.
It's a beautiful team. People listening on audio like Paulie, you've got Pope, Alexander-Arnold, Saiz, Castagna, Zaha, Salah, Rodriguez, Sterling, Podence, Jimenez, Calvert-Lewin. How many of these are just for price rises? Or
about 4.
Which ones?
I've already had Sterling's been... No, it's not Sterling. I'm just trying to get it back up, mate. 2 secs. I ain't got it up. So Rodriguez, Calvert-Lewin, Castagna, and Saiz and Zaha as well as another one. But I would expect Podence May, with him being 5.5.
Yeah, Saiz has already gone up in price, so that's not going to go up again. I don't think he's going to go up to 5.2 this week. So you won't be getting a 0.1 selling value out of him this week anyway, specifically. Podence, he ain't going to rise by 0.2, I don't think, by the end of this week. Who are the other 2, sorry?
Rodriguez already has. Calvert-Lewin. Zaha.
That's the thing. Calvert-Lewin, Rodriguez could give you a 0.1 selling value each this week by Saturday morning. There's a chance of that. And Zaha, someone mentioned in chat a second ago, Zaha's a trap. What do you think on that?
I don't know, because like the whole Zaha thing from last year was based off transfer news and him wanting to move, and his mood was down. For me personally, this year he's shown a different kind of attitude.
Yep.
And his run of fixtures, Palace just look real good at the minute. So I just want to give him a run. And to be fair, the wildcard's not just for this game week; it's a long-term plan. I've gone through fixtures. More consistent teams like Wolves of last season, Liverpool with Trent, it's a no-brainer. Everyone knows that. And obviously, I wanted to keep Werner as a set and forget striker, and I understand the fixtures. Like Liverpool was never going to be an easy game.
But he's dropping value
with everyone playing. Yeah, exactly. With everyone playing the price game, I don't want to be losing value.
Do you think, like me, you've played the wild card at the right time? I personally think I have, based on my team. What about you?
I didn't, because my initial wild card was going to be game week 16. So it's kind of a sucker punch for me, to be fair. But I wasn't happy with my team, and I needed to act. So I'm happy with the wild card now, but that's still subject to change because I ain't even happy about having Walker Peters, to be honest.
Pete, talking of Walker Peters, Peter Peters. See what I've done there? Do you have any money in the bank, FPL Anderson? Peter Peters is asking.
I have 0.3.
Ah, right, okay. Of this team up on screen right now, how many, like I've already mentioned that there's 5 or 6 in my team which I'm pretty much happy with that aren't going to be moving. Of this specific team, of the 11, maybe even the subs, but forget the subs, just of the 11, how many are guaranteed to be on that team Saturday 10:30 or 11?
Well, Pope's 1, Trent, Saiz is questionable.
Okay, hold that thought. Why is Saiz questionable?
I don't know, I think it's probably more reaction to last night with him giving a penalty away, which is probably stupid. But I don't know. I just question mark. That's all because of that reason. Castagna probably will stay.
Oh, really? He's impressed you that much so far?
Yeah, he's not done too bad, to be fair. New to the Premier League, and like I say, he's hit the ground running. Zaha, Salah, Rodriguez. Sterling may become KDB. I haven't quite decided on that balance yet. Jimenez is another one.
Just before we kick in here, so far of the 8 or 9 players that you've mentioned, only 2, Saiz and Sterling, are a bit of a thought process as to maybe not.
At the minute, yeah.
Okay, Podence.
Yeah, he's probably got I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
Why have you got this thought process?
I think, to be fair, the reason I've picked Podence was because of the Jota to Liverpool, and he was more likely to be nailed.
He looked good last night.
And obviously he's got that goal threat as well. But I don't know if I've gone too heavy on Wolves. That's where the question mark's coming in, because I've got triple Wolves.
Their fixtures are excellent. Their fixtures, you cannot deny that Wolves' fixtures upcoming are fantastic. If we just quickly look specifically at what those fixtures are, we have obviously West Ham up first, and then it is as follows. It's just a sea of green. Fulham, Leeds, Newcastle, Crystal Palace. Come on. I've got, as it stands right now, triple Everton, but we've already discussed my team. I'm not really interested in discussing my team. But your team, however, triple Wolves, mate, I'm tempted to go with Podence myself.
The only thing that worries me with the team is no Chelsea coverage. And I was toying with Reece James.
Oh, right,
but
okay.
I don't know if there's going to be any rotation at all.
Well, they were saying, I've forgotten who it was, but whoever it was, they were saying that, it was Andy on his stream. He was saying about the fact that Azpilicueta, he didn't start, he was on the bench, and Reece James was played ahead of him. Now, Lampard could be easing Azpilicueta in, but it's a good sign, I think, that Reece James, what was he, 5.1, in for... Well, who could you bring in Reece James in for you. You got 0.3. Maybe just
Fives.
downgrade Cassania.
Oh, Cassania, yeah, I could take him out.
Because that could be. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Leicester's fixture this week isn't particularly great, but then you've got apparently a good run of fixtures. But going on to your two strikers, Jimenez and Calvert-Lewin, obviously the two informed players at the moment. How confident you are going with them two? I know we just mentioned Wolves, but
Yeah, I'm fairly confident. I mean, I had a good stint last year on Calvert-Lewin when he was firing. So the signs so far this season are he's continued his form from last year, and he seems to be playing well now that they've sorted the midfield out in Everton's side. So yeah, I think Everton will kick on this year.
Robert,
And then I'm just hoping Brewster gets the move.
Robert Dinsmore is making a point. Have you thought about? I mean, I personally haven't, but triple Man City midfield. I'm assuming he means throwing in Foden.
No, because I don't like playing the Pep game.
Right. Okay. Talk to us. Why?
I don't like players that are going to be like rotation risk, which is why I'm still question marking Sterling, because I know he was subbed early, which probably doesn't mean too much because was it like 80, 85 minutes he was brought off. Sterling is obviously good at goal threat, and then you've got KDB that's going to have high ownership and does pretty much everything. Everything goes through him, so that's why he's questionable. I just wanted to be a different because of his low ownership and the threat he brings. That's why I preferred Sterling.
Paulie making a point here. Azpilicueta came on both games, and Reece James still played 90 minutes. He even moved to centre midfield. I wouldn't be worried. Thomas Wheeler, I don't think Chelsea assets will be worth it until the full team is back. Possibly Werner for an easy run. Opinions. Your thoughts on that point? Essentially, Werner.
I think personally, from my opinion, once Ziyech comes in, we'll start seeing the best from Werner.
So do you think, for, say, someone like myself, as an argument, or even Jason, I've already said that I think that Jason's going to do Jesus to Werner, myself. But do you think maybe just wait and see on Werner?
Yeah, week? Like I say, I did have him, and he was going to be a set and forget, but because of the first two games and the price point, I mean, it all went Pete Tong, basically, because I wanted Martial in. And luckily, at the 11th hour, I bottled it and I kept Kane. And I'm pleased I did. So, but now the issue I've got is I've got that £1 million short with having Jimenez. I can't upgrade to a Martial and I can't upgrade to a Werner. So I'm trying to kind of implement a plan where I'll be able to free up the money if they do start coming into form, as you've just said, like with Jason. He's got Jesus, so he's got a straightforward swap if he was to do it. Yeah,
that's why I think, like I say, Jason's wildcard team, the amount of hate he got for it, I just thought it was a brilliant move that he did, and I think that Jason is legitimately set up for, and in fact, I'm legitimately really, really, really encouraging him to take the content creators mini league seriously, because that would be a massive, I'm saying it from a selfish point of view for our channel, that could be a massive pull for our show if Jason was to compete at the top end with the people.
I mean, I like that comment that Notorious has made about Man City assets will do bits next week. That does scare me because United are like a light switch. When they want to, they'll turn it on and they'll bang 4 in. And then the next week they'll be down and out again. So it's just kind of like, and they've got really good fixtures, which is annoying. So
for me, and based on Jason's comments, I think it's for me personally just a wait and see on United. But Brighton isn't exactly the easiest fixture next week. The way Brighton are playing at the moment, I think that could be quite a tight game. And like I said at the start of the show, Man United last season, they started off really slow. Could it be the same this year? FPL Anderson. Appreciate you coming on, mate. It's going to be a very interesting week. Do you reckon you'll end up panicking on Saturday?
No, I'm not going to. There's no point panicking, is there, Steve-O?
No, there isn't.
It's only a game.
Yeah. Tell that to Jason. Tell it to Jason and me. Cheers, dude.
No, right. See you later.
See you later. There's FPL Anderson there. Wonderful conversation regarding his wildcard, and up on screen right now is my wildcard as it stands. To be honest, like I said, I'm just playing the price game, and I'm hoping at some point this week that possibly there's a chance that certain players will drop in price and certain players will go up in price, and I could potentially catch that 0.1 drop, 0.1 rise. Well, talking of FPL Anderson, we got then Mr. Anderson. Jason is doing well. Wish I was as brave as him sometimes when it comes to FPL. To be fair, he's just going with his gut. I would argue that majority of fantasy football players do not go with their gut. I'm one of them. In fact, do you know what? A question that I'm going to be answering on the Llama Lounge. One of the questions was, which of course, I put it away somewhere. So one of the questions that Llama actually asked that he wants me to answer was this. Where are we looking at here? Entertain yourselves. Here we are. What's your best tip when it comes to FPL? And from my point of view, it's go with your gut, 3 explanation marks. It really is go with your gut. And in my specific case, go with the history. If I'd have gone with the history, there's a chance that, I could have gone with Mane. But my 50-50 decisions this season so far, so my 2 50-50 decisions this season so far have both gone the opposite way. So the first 50-50 decision was Mane or Salah. Well, we all know the reasons why I didn't have Salah. Well, that backfired. And the other 50-50 was Mane or Aubameyang captain this week. Legitimately, based on the history, they were very, very equal. And I went with you-know-who. Aubameyang. Let's see what people are just quickly saying in chat before we move on to our next caller. Bill Action saying Foden or Podence. Podence to save that million. He's looking good. Notorious Nerd saying, in my opinion, Aubameyang to Sterling due to penalties. I don't quite understand that, Notorious, what you specifically mean by that. Sterling isn't on penalties. Eric Castillo, as a United supporter, I would just hold on Man U until we see their form. Hold off, you mean, Man U, until we see their form improve. Honestly, Ole is limiting the potential assets at the moment, sadly. Yes, I agree. I think Carmet. Notorious actually talking to Eric Castillo, saying Van der Beek will start along with Greenwood and Wan-Bissaka, I think. If they start, a few people saying go with both of Foden and Podence. That doesn't help. Harbour Boy, Rashford a better haul for me this week. Well, fingers crossed. Let's bring on FPL Shaz. FPL Shaz, you're going to come live on air right now. Let's talk to you about the game week that's just gone. Hello, FPL Shaz. Are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Where are you calling us from?
All the way in Australia, mate.
Ah, another Australian. How did you find out about the show? In fact, you're a regular, aren't you?
No, I'm not. This is my first time on air.
Oh, then someone's got the same handle as you, shall we say. How did you find out about the show?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've just been following FPL channels recently this season, and you guys popped up, and I must say I'm getting to be a big fan of your content. You and Jason, you're great. I hate to be sappy. You guys are really
always
good.
enjoy the feedback. It's good. It's a lot of fun hearing how people find out about.
Yeah, it's the algorithm. I don't know how it works. Just
essentially, it's
up.
this. In fact, I'll tell you how it works. For everybody watching the stream right now, There's nearly 300 people, which I find ridiculous considering that it's 7:30 in the morning. But there's a lot of people like yourself that are from the Southern Hemisphere. And if you are watching this right now, by all means, right this second, hit that like button because it gets into the algorithm and it tells YouTube that we're doing a good job. And if you are completely brand new around here, by all means, hit that subscribe button. Shaz, this team up on screen right now, I'm assuming this is the team that you have started with the season?
No, so the story is actually it basically is. So I started the season with Aubameyang instead of De Bruyne. And game week 2 I made 0 transfers. So I got lucky because I had 1 mil in the bank game week 2, and the knee-jerk move in game week 2 was Son to Rashford for me. And last second, I decided, I went in game week 1 with Son knowing that I wanted to hold him out for more than 1 week. And, the FPL sort of mentality is you don't really want to transfer in a player that is unproven yet. And United were unproven. So that was the decision I made to keep Son in for game week 2 and not make a single transfer.
Oh,
and it paid off.
Well done.
Lucky for me. It could have been horrible if I didn't have Son. So I ended up getting 60 points. I got 81 in the first week, 60 in the second week, without making a single transfer. And all my mates in my mini league wildcarded. Even though they had huge points, they were all absolute stress heads. So I'm pretty happy. With that. For this week, I've made the first easy transfer, which was Aubameyang to De Bruyne. Obviously, people are arguing De Bruyne or Sterling. I just went with De Bruyne because of the penalties and more minutes, and he looked great against Wolves, as he does. So I've just gone with De Bruyne. Worst case, if Sterling's popping off, I'll probably transfer out Salah for him. I guess my question or struggle is now I have 1 free transfer left for this week. I think I want to get rid of Maximin because he wasn't looking that good. And my thoughts are, as the chat have been bringing up, Foden's. So Podence or Foden, I don't know who to bring in because I have enough to get both.
God.
What are your thoughts on that? Sorry, I did a lot of talking there.
It is trust me, I'd rather people talk than not talk. It is the biggest flip of the coin possible. Foden, is he guaranteed to start?
Exactly.
Up in the air is...
Podence.
I think has nailed his position. He started a lot of games towards the end of Project Restart. He's coming to this season, started the first 2 games. I think he's got an assist in each game, I believe. And he's 5.5. To be honest, Wolves' fixtures are looking absolutely fantastic. I think that the difficulty is, of course, is that if Foden hadn't scored last night, people wouldn't even be bringing up his name. That's the problem.
True.
Whereas there are various other 5.5, 6.5 players where they may not have started off that well, but they are worth considering. Players like the Leeds lot, Harrison, Click, Costa. We've already mentioned Podence there. In fact, Drazer is a massive fan of Diagana of West Brom. He was looking really, really good. But my immediate thought is save the million and getting Podence personally. But I do find that it's quite an extraordinary fact that you've been able to do what you've done. Just a pure interest, where are you ranked in the world? Where does that 100 odd points get you in the world at the moment?
I am ranked 492,400.
400, so 500k, give or take.
500k,
with this team here. And for people listening all the way, we've got McCarthy, Trent, Taylor, Saiss, Son, De Bruyne, St. Maximin, Salah, Wilson, sorry, I keep calling William. Wilson, Adams, and Werner. I mean, my immediate eyes are drawn to players like Wilson, Taylor, Adams.
As weak links.
McCarthy as another one as very weak links. To be fair, as Andy's been saying,
Taylor got an assist though, so attacking-wise, he looked okay.
Yeah, Adams is actually ironically looking really, really good. It's just that Lloris and Guaita he just can't precisely. He can't seem to find the back of the net. But then again, you could argue that Guaita and Lloris have pulled off some wonder saves to deny him the opportunity. McCarthy, I mean, it's pointless doing a transfer for him, but I'll tell you what, keep an eye on it because there's a chance
he'll get dropped.
He could get dropped for Foster.
Oh,
there's a chance.
God.
It won't happen. There's a 10% chance of it happening, but you know what? He ain't afraid to change his keepers, this Hasenhüttl, and there is a possibility that, Fraser Foster's come back from Celtic. He's 4 million. There's a possibility that McCarthy may get dropped. I doubt it. Like I said, it's 90% chance that he won't, but there is that small possibility. But just a quick question over the last game week. What was the standout match for you, or matches for you?
Well, I'm a Liverpool fan, so Liverpool-Chelsea. That was good to see. Thiago fits really well. Good to see that, we were a bit disorganised against Leeds, but against Chelsea, we were very clinical and organised. That first goal was amazing to watch. And the other standout game was Tottenham. I mean, who would have thought after that atrocious first half? Sorry, someone's calling. Let me just end that. You might hear a little bit of a buzz in the background, but it'll end pretty quickly. Sorry. Tottenham. I mean, they had an atrocious first half, and then all of a sudden in the second half, Son and Kane just the dynamic duo. Who would have ever seen that coming?
Let me ask you about that. So, in my opinion, at the end of the day, Son was exceptionally clinical in that match. Just literally, Kane just kicked a ball over. Southampton playing such a high line that Son's speed and pace he just put the ball in the back of the net. Well done. Congratulations for scoring. And then the Kane goal, it just came off McCarthy or the post and he just tapped it in. From my understanding and based on what you're saying, actually, the actual match flattered to deceive Spurs' scoreline. So I'm going to be fascinated to hear James on Planet FPL discuss that game for a point of reference. But that game was quite shocking. Obviously, from a fantasy football perspective, like Son, Kane standing out with their double-digit hauls and the amount of goals, assists that they got. But in Newcastle, when I was listening into the Llama Lounge, Wilson was apparently just plodding around doing nothing. Is that concerning for you?
Yeah, well, that's why I want to get rid of St. Maximin, because he looked horrible. I think he was semi-injured at the start of the game, and then he rolled his ankle because Lamptey was ruining him. So I think he's probably going to leave. Wilson, I don't know. Newcastle have Wilson's always got that scoring potential, I think, and I don't want to just knee-jerk out Wilson, but that is what I was going to ask you. The other option I have is getting Calvert-Lewin in, because right now I have 1.5 in the bank.
Don't do it. The reason why I'm saying that is because
What about Adams? Adams has West Brom as well, so I don't want to do it either. And Everton's fixtures are looking pretty tough. So that's why I was leaning against DCL.
Are Everton's fixtures looking tough? Let's just quickly go through them for a split.
Palace's defense was pretty solid. Has been pretty solid.
Yes, and that's why I'm, like I said, toying around with Everton players in my wildcard. But let's just have a quick look at their fixtures. They're up on screen. So Crystal Palace away is a very tough game. Let's not deny it. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if that ended 1-0 to Crystal Palace or 1-1, something like that. Brighton at home, I think that could be goals galore. I think that
really?
Could be a lot yes, I do. Yes, Brighton seem to be, based on what I've heard, and they seem to be quite free-flowing at the moment. Liverpool at home, I mean, it's a local derby. I mean, it could be anything. Southampton away. Well, as people are agreeing. In fact, who was it here? Here we are. Robert Novak, pal. Can't believe Hasenhüttl allowed that kind of defence if display for 2 games in a row. They'll get destroyed defensively like that. And Martin Boyle making an excellent point here. Southampton playing that high line against Sun was suicidal. Can't believe professionals allowed it to happen over and over again. Completely agree with that, and that's the point. Southampton away, that could be an absolute goal fest again. And then Newcastle away. Newcastle at home aren't that great. So I think that... and then who did you say? Adams potentially...
Adams, Southampton, yeah. So I have enough to do Adams to DCL or Wilson to DCL. You're saying stick with it for now.
Who's Southampton got this weekend? Burnley, isn't it?
Burnley and then West Brom.
Stick. I think. Funny enough, you talk about Wilson as an example of a player who can score any time. You know what? It really, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me this game week that Newcastle are no mugs. Yeah, I know they got beaten by Brighton, but they're no idiots, and I think that could be actually quite a tight game. So, and there's a chance that, I mean, Tottenham haven't kept a clean sheet this season. They were nearly knocked out of the Europa League by some fucking... Oh, that's 50p I owe the channel. By some terrible Russian team. They were nearly knocked out. So, do you know what? I can imagine Wilson actually scoring versus Tottenham. It really wouldn't surprise me. I think, Shaz, you have got a really good team there. I think save it, and I think really just get rid of St Maximin and bring in... It really is a toss of the coin, but I would say Podence over Foden myself.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's probably going to be the best option. Yeah, I'm just concerned about Newcastle because they had West Ham first up, and I mean West Ham in the first game for some reason
that was away.
Horrible.
Remember that, but that was an away fixture.
Yeah, but I was watching the Newcastle Brighton game, and Newcastle looked lifeless and boring, and there was no chance of a goal. I think they had 0 shots or 0 attempts in that game. So I don't know how where they got the creativity from. I didn't watch the West Ham game, but West Ham must have been really bad.
Yeah, but they turn up against Arsenal all the time, so they look good. Yeah. And then they've got whoever it is up next, and they're going to get destroyed again. Morning, Sydney Hammer. Here's a quick question for you, Shaz. Boone is asking, would you rather have Trent, Foden and Werner, or Saiss, Kevin De Bruyne and Mitrovic? Who would you go of those two options?
Trent, Foden, Werner, or Saiss, De Bruyne and Mitrovic. That's a tough one. Trent or Saiss, Trent, Foden or De Bruyne, and then Werner or Mitrovic, it's Werner. So why? That's
you won't be
so.
able
Which
to
one had?
That, yeah.
I would go Trent, Foden, and no, you'd go Saiss, De Bruyne, and Mitrovic for sure because they're all guaranteed 90 minutes. And Foden isn't guaranteed 90 minutes. And, yeah, they're all sort of the rocks off their positions in their team. Saiss is kind of not a rock, but he's central to the Wolves' defence. De Bruyne is central to the City's midfield, and Mitrovic is central to Fulham's attack. In saying that, I don't really like Mitrovic, but if that's the option, I'd go with that one. What do you reckon?
It's tough, but I would go with what you've just said: Saiss, De Bruyne, and Mitrovic. They're all three key players to their team, whereas Foden could be a bit of a risk, and Werner's still slowly getting into it. The fact that the players around him just always swapping and changing. 1 minute he's got, whoever behind him the next week, it's a complete different setup. And just a quick final question for you, Werner, captain, is that locked?
Yeah, I was just about to ask you that, actually. What do you reckon? Who do you think is the best captain for this week? For me, it's between De Bruyne, Salah and Werner. Correct? So
prediction-wise, let's just do although ironically, everybody, I'm doing pretty bad with predictions this season. I haven't won of the 2 game weeks. I haven't won one. In fact, this week, Jason and the caller came out on top. They both were joint with 10 points. Usually when it comes down to a joint point scoring, it comes down to who got the most results correct. Well, they both got a correct score. So then it was down to who got the closest to each game, and they both only had 1 out of the 10 closest as well. So it was quite literally a draw. So take predictions with a pinch of salt from me, even though I'm normally quite good with it. So of those 3 options, Werner, Salah and De Bruyne. So De Bruyne at home to Leicester. I still think that Leicester are not looking that great. I think that it was
defensively or just in general.
Just in general, they were gifted the goals by us. I mean, you've got a wonder strike by Pratt as a prime example. The Justin goal was shocking. The own goal by Peters, is just nothing you can do about it. But
no Vardy involvement is a sign that Leicester's not doing too well, right?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go that far. Vardy wasn't exactly performing that great versus Burnley, and when he was up against who would they play? West Brom, of course, where we know how bad they are as well. So De Bruyne up against Leicester, I can see that. It's normally quite a tight game, to be fair, but I can see Man City coming out of that. So I would probably rule out a captain there. Now out of Salah and Werner, if Lampard wants to install confidence into Chelsea, I think he's going to have to say, look, guys, this team are a shambles. Let's put on a show. And I think
Werner really wants to get off the mark. Like against Liverpool, he was trying to make those runs a lot of times to break that high line. I hope he can do that against West Brom.
Yes, precisely. It's I think that of the two, Werner and Salah, I think you've got it nailed. And to be honest with you, you've had 2 excellent game weeks, and it looks like you're probably going to go into game week 3 and coming out of it doing pretty well as well. Shaz, really appreciate you coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully you ring in again.
No, definitely. Thanks for having me on, and hope you beat Jason this week.
Unlikely. Not with Jason's luck.
No,
Cheers.
I've got faith. You got it. You got this.
I hope so. Cheers, Shaz.
Thank you.
There's Shaz, the FPL Shaz. Let's bring on Alex the Kid. Hello, Alex the Kid. Alex the Kid, you just need to unmute your mic and we can have a coherent conversation talking about the game week that has just happened. In a 3, 2, hey! There you are. He had 1 second left. Game week 2's just happened. Did you enjoy it or not?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Top of my mini league.
Oh, which then puts you as an overall rank of what?
80,000.
What? You're 80,000th in the world. Well done. Who was the standout player for you last week? Or game week 2?
Son got me 24, but then I had Rodriguez and Mitrovic who also got me 12.
Yeah. The dream. Obviously up on screen at the moment is your game week 3 team, and we've just been talking about Werner. You're going to be sticking with him?
Yeah, I've just put in. I've took a -8.
Oh.
I've took Aubameyang out. I took Davis out up front and Lewis, and put Size, Podence and Calvert-Lewin in.
Oh wow! Are you normally a hit taker?
Yeah, can be. But I did it on Sunday before Wolves played, so I've made Price Rise and Calvert-Lewin and Size.
Ah, nice, absolutely fantastic. And you confident going into game week 3 with this setup? No Man City though.
Yeah, not yet. I'm gonna wait. I'm trying to hold my wildcard. Next week I'm gonna bring in Jimenez for Mitrovic.
Oh wow, what a luxury transfer!
So I got about 5 or 4 mil in the bank.
Blimey. So you started off the season with an absolute bang. You can make luxury transfers by doing -8 to bring in the players that you did. You can then do next week Jimenez to in for Mitrovic.
Either for Jimenez or Richarlison. I want to see how Everton get on again. But if the points are going to be spread out, I want to cover all 3. And I think Podence covers Jimenez's points anyway.
Were Everton that good this weekend? Or did West Brom just make them look good with 10 men? I know they only had 10 men, but they completely capitulated. I think that Everton just looked like they're just attack.
Yeah, I think I just want to see who's the set pieces really. So obviously you've got Digne on free kicks, but then also penalties. And then once I find out who's on penalties, I'll have them all over. So like if it's Calvert-Lewin or Richarlison, I'd have him over the other.
Yeah, that's actually a very, really interesting question. Who would you take over Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin at the moment as it stands? I've got them both, but without repeating myself, wanting to repeat myself. Sorry, I'm just got them both, and for the potential of getting a 0.1 selling value out of them, you're going to be starting Mitchell. Is that for definite?
Oh, just lost connection there. If you can't hear me.
Mitchell, you're definitely going to start him game week 3.
Yeah, he's just got a better fixture than Justin, and his fixtures. I think how he played against United.
It's
I
crazy.
think he'll stay in the team.
It's crazy. First 2 fixtures, he's got attack and returns.
Yeah, he looks a good player, to be fair, especially at that price.
Yeah, do you think that Mitchell could actually cement himself in the first team once, the various first teamers originally come back?
Yeah, is he a younger player? Do you know how old he is?
I mean, I wouldn't have a clue how old he is, but I certainly can't imagine him being in his mid-20s. I'm going to guess about between 19 and 21, something like that.
Yeah, if he's playing that well, then you just play him over. Like they've got quite an old defence, Palace, haven't they?
I mean, Crystal Palace at the moment have started off, let's be honest here, very, very well indeed. 2 1-0 results. It wouldn't surprise me if it was 1-0 against Everton, to be honest with you. They're looking pretty solid. One quick question for you. A lot of people, I say a lot of people, one person has said that Zaha is a trap. Your thoughts on Zaha? I'm thinking actually, no, he's looking good.
He's looking good. Have you seen their fixtures after?
Oh, yes.
I think it's after Gameweek 4 or 5.
Oh, yes. They're looking good. They're looking phenomenal, in fact.
Yeah, it's that long of a stretch. You might as well just take him in, but you need to. If you're going to put him in, you need to commit to keeping him. So people rush him out. So say he blanks against Brighton. Say he blanks against Wolves. He's still got Leeds and Burnley. They're all fixtures that could go each way.
Who do you support, Alex?
I'm a United fan.
Talk to us about United this weekend. Jason was absolutely disgusted by their performance. What do you think? I mean, I've been saying that last season they started off really badly. Could it be a repeat again?
Yeah, we weren't the best. We haven't made the signings that we need to. I'm in a similar thought with Jason. It weren't good, but it's the first game week. I know, it's weird we don't show up against the teams like Palace or Burnley, but then we'll go and beat Liverpool or City.
But is that because, teams like Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, etc., well, actually maybe not Arsenal these days, but Chelsea, they're willing to attack, so you just hit them on the counter, whereas teams like Burnley, Palace, they just sit back and just go, well, come on then, attack us.
That's what I mean, but I feel like because of that, I feel like most teams know how to beat us.
Yes.
I think we're a very beatable team.
Do you think...
we don't... Go on, sorry.
Well, I was going to say, do you think the game against Brighton could be one of those where it could be not necessarily a defining moment of the season, but, if Brighton were to get something out of you lot, it may be thinking...
Say that again.
I was just saying that this weekend against Brighton, are you worried that if Brighton were to get something out, this could be a defining moment in the season with the fact that, 2 poor results, it wouldn't be looking good if you were to lose or draw against Brighton, depending on the performance, of course.
Well, I'd usually be confident against Brighton, but then they got 2 wins on the bounce now.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
So the way we're defending, I think it plays like Maupai, whatever he's called, plays like that, will do well against us. I feel like we can't. It's just our defence, and then as soon as we go 1-0 down, teams put 10 men at the back, and then not many teams can do anything with that.
Do you know much about Lamptey's injury?
No. Didn't realise he was injured. I was looking to get him in if I wildcarded.
I've just seen this. Cheers, John Harris. You've just made my morning. I know it was late, but... Oh yeah, Brighton lost to Chelsea, but they looked good though. They looked good, Robert. But yeah, they did lose. John Harris kicking me right in the gut. Morning all. That Jesus goal in the 95th minute. Was it the 95th minute? Oh, my God. I didn't know that. I thought it was like the 90th or 91st. But, oh, that's absolutely crazy. What did you think of Man City last night, if you watched the game?
I was in the pub, so I watched bits of it here and there. I thought City played well. It's hard to judge the game considering they give the penalty away so early on. So I feel like it would have been a different game if that penalty wasn't given.
Oh yes, absolutely. I think that was a turning point. A bit like with the Christensen red card against Liverpool. It was just
very very similar games. Because Wolves are a good team. Opponents looks class. I was saying this before the season. Really like the look of opponents. Well, I think he'll keep his place even when Semedo comes in.
A lot of people are saying about the fact that should I go Podence, should I go Foden? Shaz is having the similar debate. One final question for you: Podence or Foden, or essentially, would you take Podence for any 5.5 mid?
I haven't been watching them, but I know that the Leeds midfielders have been doing well. But I don't know any of them, so I wouldn't put them in myself. I like to watch players myself. I'd say like my plan going forward is once Chelsea get fit again, it's a bit like, you know, when United City didn't start at the start of the season. No one's going to have them in, and I'm looking to wildcard when City have a bit better fixtures and Chelsea have the players fit, and wildcard them in. So I think when they're all fit, they'll gel as a team, and
they'll destroy anything in their path. Brilliant. Alex, really appreciate you coming on, dude.
Yeah, no worries. Appreciate it.
Cheers, dude.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you. See you later. Well, we do have a special guest up next. Really appreciate him joining the Discord and coming on the show right now. Trigger Lips, good morning. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can speak into the mic or whatever setup you've got. Can you hear me? Yes, there's noise.
All right there, man. How's it going?
Good morning. The one thing that I love about you, you've got a very, very, very strong accent, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't know what sort it is, though. But, yeah, been in New Zealand for about 20 years, so I've lost a lot of it.
Oh, so So were you actually originally from England, are you?
Yeah, Cornwall. Oh. I was living in London for like 20 years, and...
Now you've just said that I can hear the hello, mate.
I've got a New Zealand.
Why New Zealand? What made you move out there if it's not too much of a personal question?
I met the missus. I used to work in Amsterdam and Leiden, around there, or Leiden or whatever they call it. And she was on her OE, so I met her, and she dragged me back eventually.
Wow.
We were like living in Crete for about 4 years as well. So that was pretty good. Like working in the greenhouses and that sort of thing.
You enjoying it out in New Zealand? Bit of a stupid question considering you've been there for 20 years.
Not bad, I suppose. Well, I'm stuck here now.
What time's it over there right now?
It's about 8 o'clock at night, I think.
Oh, brilliant.
Something like that.
Brilliant. Yeah, I try and do these morning shows as like at least once a week, just for not just specifically for you, obviously, but for the people in the Southern Hemisphere that don't get to watch us live in the evening. And Trigger Lips, the question is on everybody's lips. You know, this game week that's just gone, people are panicking, wildcarding, taking -12, 16s. What are your initial thoughts on all that?
Well, I've done the wildcard myself, but to be honest, it's probably pretty borderline, to be honest. I mean, my team wasn't that bad, really, but I just got sick of looking at it.
What? I don't want to pressurise you into putting a bit in a pitch. If you don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it. It really doesn't matter. So, what was the problem with your team when you said you're sick to death of looking at it? What players were you sick to death of looking at?
I was sick of the goalkeeper because McCarthy.
Oh,
because my transfer last week was taking Son out and bringing Rashford in, and the Pratt cost me 22 points or 24 points or whatever. And it's not. I think it was the manager's fault. I mean, he's fucking stupid because
that's 50p.
It was obvious. It was obvious their tactics weren't working, and he just kept playing the high line. And I didn't think he'd do that against Tottenham. I thought he'd have more sense.
Yeah, it's a very, very peculiar. We had someone earlier on saying about the professionals allowing this to continue, and those 4 balls over the top for Son. It was just like, have you not learnt from this?
It's naive. It's just absolutely ridiculous. You know, I was quite prepared for him to get a goal after I sold him. I thought, he gets a goal. It's not going to matter. I've saved 0.1 on him. And I've got Rashford in, who was actually expected to do better than Son, according to the bookies. But it just didn't work out. I woke up at 3 a.m., looked on the Sporting Life, and saw he'd scored 4 goals. And it was like fucking bizarre. Honest to God, it's like,
Yeah.
once in a career he does that, and it's the 1 week where you bloody take him out, So
Yeah, that's
now
the
I've got
issue.
him back in on my wild card now.
What other players were you looking at and thinking, oh God, why do I own you? I mean, in my case, it was Saka, Egan, St. Maximin.
I had a pretty good team actually. It was I knew I had to take Aubameyang out, and that Sam Maximin was injured, and I wasn't happy with the goalkeeper. A couple of my defenders I wasn't that happy with. I mean, they're all right, but I just thought I'd make some money and tidy it all up a bit.
So
I probably could have done a -8 and been all right if I wanted to, but I like using it early. I play better when I haven't got a wild card because you got to concentrate more.
Are you choosing the players as of now that are going to be hitting potentially a 0.2 rise, so you may have a 0.1 selling value at all?
Yeah, that's why I got Son in. I think you should have had Son in your team because he's already gone up once and he's going to go up again. So I didn't see him in your side when you put it up.
But he was 8.9. So you think he's going to go up to 9.1, do you?
Yeah, well, he's already gone up to 9 again. He went up last night, didn't he?
No, he didn't. Not that I know of.
No, but the night before, he's already gone back up.
He's gone up to 9, has he? And you think he's going to go up to 9.1 by the end?
Yeah. Definitely, yeah.
Would you be keeping him though for the official wild card that you'll be ending up having?
I haven't made my mind up yet because it's really hard to look at it because I can't take half the players out because I'd lose value on them, so I have to kind of guess. And I'm just going to wait until I see how much money I've got before I make the wildcard team.
Which players in the wildcard are you absolutely certain of having by 11 o'clock on Saturday?
De Bruyne. Probably the Villa keeper, Martinez. He'll be in there for sure.
Talk to me about Martinez because that's somebody that I'm going to be going with almost certainly.
I'll tell you why I'm having him is because at some stage they're going to have a double game week. And if you've already used your wild card, then you're going to want him in your team because you're not going to have a goalkeeper for your double game week. So I think you need to put him in there, to be honest. And I've got Burnley defender on the bench for the same reason. I'll have Taylor. So I've already got 2 double game week players lined up for down the track, because if you use your wild card now, you're at a bit of a disadvantage with that double game week. So you've got to make sure you've got a couple of them in there. I'm not too bothered about it because, we're all going to have City players anyway, aren't we? And Man United players. Well, maybe not them, but City players anyway.
A question from myself. Liverpool. I'm very confident now they've got this Thiago Silva in, and I'm pretty confident I'm going to continue going with double Liverpool defence.
Yeah, I don't think I can afford double Liverpool, but I'm going to keep one of them for sure. Whether I haven't made my mind up which one yet. Depends how much money I've got left over. I definitely have one of them. Because, even Chelsea away, they kept the clean sheet, didn't they? So they're going to keep clean sheets against anybody.
They only just kept the clean sheet, but...
Yeah, true.
Thanks
I'm keeping Salah as well, so... I'm pretty sure Salah is in my team. So it's going to be Salah and De Bruyne, maybe Son, and then it'll be Podence probably in midfield. It'd be Calvert-Lewin in attack.
Just to interject there's a lot of talk about this Podence this morning. You think, you know what, get him on?
I think so. I'm no expert at picking players and that, but everyone seems to think that he's the one to get, don't they? So I just listen to what everyone else is saying.
I've literally just seen they're away at West Ham next.
Yeah. They've got really good fixtures, haven't they? So
yeah, I've gone.
And he's only 5.5.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've got clicking at the moment. A bit of a knee jerk or whatever. Again, he's a player that I was thinking, oh, you never know, I may get a 0.1 selling value out of him. But Podence, oh my goodness, you know what? I may be tempted to be getting him in. I mean, West Ham away is a prime fixture, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've got better ones after that, I think. I mean, they've got like 3 or 4 really good fixtures. So
Yes, they have,
it's
yeah.
either him or Foden for me. So, but I probably won't be able to afford Foden, I suspect. So,
Does the Foden potential rotation not concern you, though?
yeah, that's the other thing with him, isn't it? But it's 6.5. It's not too. You don't mind that so much, do you? It's not like De Bruyne being rested, and you. But Foden 6.5. It doesn't matter too much if he misses the odd game, does it?
No, it doesn't. No, especially if you've got decent backup coming on at the moment. This game week that's just gone, just going back to it, the Liverpool-Chelsea game seems to have turned on its head once Christensen was sent off. If, for argument's sake, Liverpool were to have lost that maybe 1-0 because the game didn't exactly sound inspiring, do you think a lot of us would be jumping off the Liverpool assets if they had lost?
It's possible. The Liverpool defence, because they haven't got brilliant fixtures, and I don't think they would have lost. But it could have been 0-0, I think, if they'd not lost a man.
Everton at the moment are looking like a free-flowing team. They're looking like they're enjoying themselves, especially Richarlison and James. They're looking like they've got a free roll. Just do whatever you want, lads. How tempted are you with maybe even tripling up on them?
Very tempted to get James in, but I'm just not sure I can fit him in. It'd be either him or Son, I think, for the third. That'd be the third midfielder, Son or James. So I don't see anybody else really in that price bracket. I mean, the Chelsea midfielder, Pulisic might be back, but it's a bit early, I think. It's just a bit early, isn't it, to know with them.
Thanks to Dread for the what do you call it, the super chat there.
That was for me, he said. It was for Tenant Super, I think. So.
Yeah, we're a family friendly show. We don't like to swear unless I'm in meltdown mode. Ray Joyce, a friend of the show here though. I'm assuming he's referring to you. Do you remember the 100-pointer when you forgot to do transfers?
I don't think that was me.
Oh, okay.
No.
What are you talking about, Ray?
It's good what you were saying about my blog earlier. I like that because it's amazing how many people remember that, and it's like 2 or 3 years ago now, isn't it? And it kind of
really that long ago.
I didn't realise at the time how much people would miss it. If I did know that, I probably would have carried it on, but it's all lost now. I've lost everything into hyperspace, and I can't get it back.
So what specifically do you do now? I know Harbour Boy here, friend of the show, he is saying that he really enjoys your podcast. Is that what you're now doing regarding media work?
Well, I just do them for a bit of fun, really. I mean, they're just mucking about type things that I do whenever I feel like it. And
all right, okay. So they're more of an inconsistent podcast, i.e., you don't do one a week then, or what is the?
No, they just last 5 minutes. I do one a day sometimes. Or you were in one the other day.
Oh,
I think I was slagging you off a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Talk to me. This is interesting.
When did you rant on? Because I talk about what's going on Twitter more than what's going on with FPL. Do you know what I mean? Okay. I'll be like, I'm all talking about all the fights and that are going off on Twitter.
Yeah.
So and like when you come on with your video, I think I was calling you lizard skin or something like that. So. But yeah,
it's funny because in all seriousness, that quote-unquote rant was completely taken out of context by a lot of people that don't know what it was about. So the whole just to clarify to anybody that watches this, and I know there's going to be a lot of people that know this anyway, but for someone like yourself, Triggerlips, so myself and my co-host Jason, we have got like a real proper rivalry. He really, 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 really annoys the hell out of me when it comes to his luck, and I mean he is the luckiest FPL gamer on the planet. You can have skill in this game, you can choose the right players and everything, but he, on the other hand, is somebody that will pick one of the worst players on the planet, and yet that player he'll probably captain him, and he'll still get a hat-trick for him. So anyhow, when I did that rant, the whole idea of it was to deliberately upload it to Twitter, not hashtag it, not tag anything, just literally do it because I knew for a fact that he was streaming at the time and I wanted to see his reaction live on air, reacting to my rant. The problem is as you'd be aware, is that when it comes to the internet, it's going to potentially be seen by a lot of people, and then by, I think it was like Monday, it had just exploded, and a lot of people didn't really understand the context. A lot of people were like, "Who the hell is Jason?" and stuff, but you know, it seemed to have worked. People like yourself have come on board. You've decided to come on the stream. You're here now talking to us, and it's
you're right. And that's but it's great publicity for you, that rant was, because to be honest, I'd hardly heard of you guys until I saw that, and it was funny as fuck, really. And sorry, I'm swearing again, but
just donate 50p.
There's nothing, no such thing as bad publicity, is there? So
no, there isn't. I said at the start of the show, I don't know if you heard it or not, but I'm no idiot. I know how social media works, and I kind of thought, is there a chance this video may get popular? Like, I've had a few videos that have gone viral, and like you said, there's no such thing as bad publicity, and it just brings it all back to us and everything. I just found that, I mean, it's now only a members only video, and I did do a stream about my disgust basically at the way people on Twitter that were retweeting were essentially making out like I was an absolute lunatic, and that basically I was suffering from major mental health issues, blah 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 blah. And it's like, well, number one, you don't know me. Number two, if you knew the context, you'd actually find it really, really funny. But that's the problem with doing things quote unquote public. I never in a million years. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about this YouTube channel. It's nothing to do with our Twitter. Our Twitter feed is just quite literally advertising this show and putting up clips regarding this specific show. And I even did a funny video yesterday. I just had a bit of a laugh. I just went on Twitter and I just said, look, I'm going to do some chin-ups on a tree over there, and however many chin-ups I can do is going to be how many goals are going to be scored in tonight's fixtures. And like several hatred comments towards me. It's just like, I can't, it blows my mind the way people...
I get that all the time.
In what respect?
No.
In what respect do you get it all the time?
I'm always having a go at Scout, for one thing, and I was one of the ones who got the deadline put back for half an hour because people in New Zealand and that, we were like a big disadvantage of all these people giving away the team news and everything. So I got on there and started going on it. Everybody went on it, FPL, done some pods about it and everything. And I think that was part of the reason it all got changed. But like, I upset a lot of people. I'm always upsetting people on there, and it doesn't really bother me.
We had a comment from FPL Boone, a friend of the show, Triglips.
I've just seen that. I've been waiting to have a go at him. Right, let's.
Well, talk. I mean, this is what this show's about. I'm not here to flaming beat about the bush. I'd like to have a conversation. What's your answer? So, for people listening on audio, do you enjoy making comments on Twitter for the sake of being controversial?
Oh, not really. I mean, I like having a good argument. It's true, but like, I don't shy away from a bit of fun on Twitter occasionally if I'm in the mood for a bit of it. But I don't do it deliberately to be controversial. You know what I mean? It just like, I stick up for people. If I see people getting picked on Twitter, I always come to the like.
Where were you for me yesterday?
It's like who was getting picked on the other way? FPL Mate was getting picked on.
Right, okay.
By somebody or other. And they're all going on at him and blocking him and everything. And I thought, well, you know, he's only doing what everyone else is doing. So I stuck up for him. He might be a bit of an idiot, I don't know, but I still stuck up for him. And like, you know, everyone was like bullying him and stuff. So I don't like seeing that on Twitter. You get people bullying other people. So I stick up for them. And
that's good.
So I know what it's like. You know, they're always having a go at me.
And sorry, you were saying that something about the Fantasy Scout. I'm not trying to make some form of angst against another site or anything, but what were you meaning about Scout having a go at them or something?
About their a number of things. Like, they kept advertising their membership as going cheap, and then they kept putting the date back that they were going to put the real prices on, etc. They told everybody they were going to update the members area. This was about 2 or 3 months ago when I paid my money. Bugger all's changed on it. The rate my team feature is absolutely blooming useless. Like, I went on there last week to compare points in the next 5 game weeks. Well, he beat that in the 1 game week, didn't he? So they obviously don't update the bloody thing. They spend all their time on Twitter chatting with their mates and not working on their site, you know.
To play devil's
I'm always
advocate.
pulling them up on it. But they've all blocked me now, so none of them ever hear what I have to say.
I mean, I don't want to bring back bad memories or memories in general, but I thought you were quite close, tight-knit with that community, genuinely.
Yeah, I used to get on all right with them, but I don't know what's happened, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, fair enough. You know, if I say if you don't want to go into detail, I personally.
I just think they've just gone up far too commercial now, and they're putting the commercial side of it ahead of the content. You know, they're not keeping up with the content. You look at that site, and it hasn't changed for 5 or 6 years, and you know.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I mean, Harbour Boy here. Making a point about yourself, Boona, Steve, etc. At the end of the day, I like people who call a spade, and yeah, that's pretty much me. Martin Boyle, certain people are brave behind a keyboard. They wouldn't dare say it to your face. Yeah, that's very true. It's interesting because I've done various members' videos about my opinion on the fantasy football space in general and everything, and I just this time last year. There was just no live streams going on whatsoever, like quote unquote popular ones or whatever. It seems to be a live stream every other person now. Every other person on Twitter seems to be wanting to create content for fantasy football. I just think it's like, I'm not being funny, but I just think it's just gone a bit overboard now. I've actually personally chosen not to read. I mean, I've got my own personal Twitter page, and the Elite FPL one's just Elite FPL. But my personal one has nothing to do with fantasy football. I don't want anything to do with fantasy football on there. Yes, I follow some people out of the fact that I respect what they do, but I've muted them. I don't hear because I can't stand hearing the amount of noise that comes out of it. And I've funny enough, ever since I've mentioned the fact that I've muted everybody, a lot of people have actually come out and said, you know what, I wish I'd done the same. There are certain podcasts that I only listen to now. I used to listen and watch various videos and everything for tips, advice and stuff, and I've just decided this is mental. They're completely skewing my own vision, so I've just decided to listen to certain podcasts and everything. And I mean, I'll ask you, do you actually have any personal favourite podcasts that you personally listen to where you think, you know what, I enjoy it because of the conversation that they're having?
I listen to the Dive one sometimes, and Who Got the Assist is all right as well. They're pretty good people. They're not kind of too commercialised. And the Black Box one or whatever it's called is quite good.
Oh, God, that is... do you know what?
That's because Mark's on it. I just listen because Mark's on there and he's really good. So
do you know what? Someone put a comment in their whatever it is, the messages afterwards on the replay, and they said, this brings back memories of the old days with Mark and Granville.
Yeah.
And their podcast was, in my opinion, I thought it was wonderful. It was just two guys having a conversation. It's basically what me and Jason try to do with this show. It's just two guys having a conversation about fantasy football. It's a rivalry between us, and then we just invite people like yourself on and various others to talk about their own teams and everything, to invoke conversation. And
exactly. I really enjoyed that because that is like what the old Scout was like. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Back in the old days, like 5 or 6 years ago.
And don't get me wrong.
Really absorbing, just listen to it. But a lot of it's to do with Mark, I think. It's just the way he comes across.
Yeah,
makes you listen and pay attention. You know, it's
if
he wasn't on there, I probably wouldn't bother. So
yeah, there's something about Mark which is. It's going to sound really weird. He's just normal. He's your everyday man that evidently enjoys talking about the game, knows what he's talking about, has an opinion, and he just puts it across so well. And there's an innocence about how he talks, and it's like you said, he's very easy to listen to.
And he's very enthusiastic, isn't he? And
yes.
And you can tell he thinks about it quite deeply, what he's saying. And I also like the fact that some of the stuff he picks, no one else is picking. Like he picked Grealish.
Yes.
Nobody else even mentioned Grealish. You know? And to be honest, Grealish could have had 2 or 3 goals today, especially towards the end of that game. Now, earlier on, I was going on at Scout like 5 minutes ago or whatever, but I really like Scout, but I just want them to be like they were. And the only reason I go on at them is because I want them to bloody wake up, stop getting overly commercial, and to go back to the way they were. You know, that's because I still go on there to the forum and that, but they don't even go on the forum themselves. You know, they're all on Twitter all day. So
I unfortunately, and it's not just me. In fact, it's people like yourself which actually stopped using their forum. I stopped using it about 3 years ago because what you just said. Once they signed up like this commercial contract with whoever it was, that's when the site got bombarded with trolls, and it just became, rather than a site for discussion, it became a site of who shall I pick, ABC, and it's just a feed of that. And I was just like, I hated it so much, and it really got to me.
It used to be fantastic, didn't it? Like 2014, 2015.
Yes,
it was just a place, and I used to spend all day on that forum some days.
So did I, and I used to write articles for them. I used to write consistently in the comments. A lot of my comments were made as it's hot topics, isn't it? That was made and stuff.
Yeah.
Now it's just, like I said, it's just the same old thing. If you ask a question, you get completely shot to pieces, and it's just not personally a pleasant sight. However, to play devil's advocate, it's their job. They've got to make money, and I know it's not always about money, but I mean, they're a huge entity in the market. They are like the biggest fantasy football website or show, whatever you want to call it, out there. From a commercial point of view, they're huge. Everybody knows about them and everything. And good luck to them and stuff. And
I think this year they were starting to worry about the competition, so they've kind of upped their game a little bit. So there's that hub website, and there's, like you said, with your streaming, it's really taken off now. There's sites springing up all over the place, isn't there? Because
I'm not. I've said this several times, and I know people will either back me up or they'll completely shoot me down. But to blow smoke up myself and Jason's backsides, unfortunately, we believe there's quite a few copycats of ours. For argument's sake, the match reaction. In fact, talking of Scout, funny enough, that beautifully links me into that. So when I was on Fantasy Football Scout on a regular basis, I would always write about why doesn't the Scout do match reactions? Why don't they just report on the matches live on YouTube and stuff? Everybody was. In fact, some of the moderators were saying, who wants to watch that rubbish? Everybody was saying, who wants to watch live matches? I'd rather watch the football. Well, guess what? You fast forward 4 years and everybody, including their dog, is doing it. And myself and Jason were like the first streamers, because I do a lot of research into all of this, into YouTube and podcasts and everything. And we were virtually this was 2 years ago now. Again, we were complete nobodies. We had like 30 people watching us, if that. Some of them are here today, like Booner, Harbour Boy, etc. But Ray Joyce there, as he's just there. They would join us, and we were the only ones covering live matches, the 3 p.m. kickoffs. Again, 2 years later, you've got 3 or 4 doing it, and good luck to them. You know, do it and everything. But unfortunately, it's there to be making money, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it is for them, isn't it? There's a lot of wannabes out there now too that just they haven't built up any kind of reputation or anything. They're just going straight out. Some of them have only got like 10K finish or whatever, and they're like setting up, like paid content.
Well, interesting you say that. This is the one thing that I love about our USP, if you want to call it. It's the fact that we are literally saying, don't bother coming to us for advice. Like I'm having with you, I just want to have a conversation about football, obviously tying it in with fantasy football, but that's all I want to talk about. I don't really like going down the route of, well, the heat map suggests this and this player's got these statistics. I've never liked it. I never will like it. I find it boring. However, hearing people like yourself, when you talked about Aston Villa a second ago and everything, it's more enjoyable, and you can invoke a more interesting conversation.
No. It's it's too detailed, a lot of it now. It's kind of, I don't know. It's quite a simple game, really, isn't it? FPL. It's like picking your players.
Do you know what?
Playing the prices, etc. And all the rest of it's just like noise, really.
Well, do you know what? It's funny you say that, because if, like, over the last 3 or 4 years, I mean, the FPL world has exploded, so to speak. I mean, thank you for the kind comments there, Mass, saying this is an absolute top-notch stream. Recently got into FPL this year, and this is by far the most relaxing. I don't know about being informative, but thank you for the kind words. I do appreciate it. But a lot of people, unfortunately, listen to the noise. I mean, don't get me wrong, we could be blamed ourselves for the Discord and everything, but again, we try and encourage people to have a conversation rather than, who should I be doing, blah, 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 blah. But unfortunately, the game has become try and get as many sample sizes as possible and then pretty much go, right, well, the majority of people are saying that player, I'm going to get him in. And then they get that player in, and then it's like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have got him in. I should have gone with gut. Yeah. I mean, what do you think about going with your gut instinct? How often do you use your gut for options in your team?
Less and less these days, actually, because I find normally if I go for a differential, it never seems to work out these days. So, because kind of there is so much information that a lot of it is actually right now, though, isn't it? So you've got to
absolutely.
be
a
little bit careful. I mean, the amount of players we choose from are pretty low, aren't they, when you think about it? It's only like 2 or 3 from each position that you're really considering, like Werner, I'm thinking Werner or Jimenez, and that's about it, for my top striker. Or maybe Kane. Kane could come into consideration, but I do go with my gut. I mean, I don't do XG and all that type of stuff, really. So it's more like the eye test and...
Well, talking of eye test, did you watch the Man City game last night?
Yeah, I watched that one.
What were Man City like?
Very Man City like. I mean, they started off really fast, and I didn't think Sterling didn't do that much, actually. I think definitely De Bruyne over Sterling for me for next week. But
well, interesting.
Everyone's own opinion.
Again, talking of not asking for advice, but I'm about to ask you for something. Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, I've got a consideration to make. I'm thinking maybe to be having Salah instead of Sterling, but potentially having Salah for home games and Sterling for away games, because they seem to perform better away/home form, etc. What are your thoughts on that possibility of
So Sterling instead of De Bruyne is in your team, is that right?
No, I've got both Sterling and De Bruyne, but I'm thinking of having Salah instead, because Salah's performances at home are a lot better than, say, Sterling at home, for argument's sake.
Oh, okay, so you're going to have Salah and De Bruyne.
Basically, yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing, I think. I mean, penalties are a big thing now too, aren't they? And De Bruyne's on penalties, so that's pretty much swung it for me. Because even if he's having a shit game, he can get a penalty and he's going to get points, isn't he? So, Sterling's a bit more streaky, isn't he? So,
yeah. And...
I think I'll probably go De Bruyne, because another thing is the ownership. I mean, so many people, and his price is going up faster as well. So, I'm better off getting on him. And then when I sell him, at least I make some money, whereas Sterling's not going to go up so far, is he? So
yeah,
definitely De Bruyne.
My co-host is in a really, really good position. He wildcarded last week, and his option, quite simply, is this. He's already got Sterling and De Bruyne, and this week he's just going to bring in Salah for Aubameyang. And it's like the classic thing of chess and snooker and stuff. These tactical type of games. If you're ahead, then all the decisions become easier. And he's even got the opportunity of maybe Jesus to Werner. How did Jesus look last night?
Rubbish. He didn't do anything. I mean, he was so lucky. It was like the 3rd minute of injury time, and Wolves had pretty much given up, and he just got a fluky goal. really peeved me off actually because gave points to him and De Bruyne. He didn't really deserve that last goal. It's just kind of game was over really. Ref was just about to blow his whistle.
Talking
But,
of their opposition, Wolves moving forward, they've got very, very, very good fixtures. Are you considering the triple up? Maybe Jimenez, a defender, along with probably Podence?
Yeah, I think I've got a defender in already. Is it Says I've got in my team with the rises? I'll probably keep him in there. And thinking about Podence because he's 5.5 and he'll replace ASM in my team. Probably not Jimenez though, because the structure I've got, I can't really. It's either him or Werner. So I think I'd start off with. I think I'll get Werner back. I'm a bit annoyed his price hasn't gone down though, because
I think it's Wildcard.
I took him out. Took him out on my Wildcard, thinking I'll get him back for like 0.1 cheaper, but he's just not dropping in price. They fixed the prices or something, haven't they? None of the new players are changing price. Like James Rodriguez should have gone up about 3 days ago, and he hasn't gone up. Werner and Havertz should have dropped in price, and they haven't dropped. So it's kind of been manipulated by FPL, and it's really annoying when you're trying to, because that's part of the reason I wildcarded was to take advantage of these price drops.
Yes.
And now they've kind of frozen their prices, it looks like, and they're not dropping. So it would be really annoying if I have to get Werner back on Saturday morning, put him in my team, and as soon as the deadline's passed, he'll drop. And it's like, so if that happens, I might not get him. I might get Jimenez instead, because I'm not going to buy a player who's going to drop in price.
Do you think
the moment I buy him?
Do you think Werner's shown enough for you to bring him in though, and potentially captain him against West Brom?
No, I don't think. I mean, he's hardly had a shot, has he? To be honest, I mean, how can you captain a player that's hardly had a shot in the Premier League? And did you see the other day when he went on that breakaway? He was offside, I think. Havertz passed to him, and he still missed. He didn't even hit it on target. I don't know if he knew if he was offside or not, but it went miles wide. And you don't know if he's informed, do you? He could have like a mental block, like new players sometimes do with getting that first goal. Like that could take weeks, couldn't it? You just don't know.
It could, especially
De
with
Bruyne,
Chelsea not being quite a settled side in that midfield area where he seems to be playing with different players each week. Teams this season.
Exactly.
Which teams this season so far have you been quite disappointed with, and who do you think are the teams that you should be targeting when choosing attacking players against? So for argument's sake, I've written down, West Brom, Fulham, West Ham. If you've got, players against them, just potentially captain them. What teams have disappointed you? I'll give you an example from me. Sheffield United, just looking awful.
Yeah, looking pretty poor, although they did go down to 10 men. They probably would have held out for a 0-0 if it was they had the 11 men, wouldn't they? But it's so difficult at the moment. Like Tottenham are absolutely shocking against Everton. I mean, it's the worst performance I've seen for years. And then rubbish in Bulgaria. So I took Son out. Then they go and score blooming 5 goals against Southampton. So
that's another team, Southampton. What's going on there? Do you have any idea?
They're the ones that have really disappointed me because they're just absolute bollocks. And they were really good during the restart, but now they've gone back to the sort of form where they were losing 9-0, weren't they, last year? And but it's just so frustrating, because I've got the keeper, I've got one of their defenders, and they're just hopeless.
A lot of people are talking about this weekend, potentially captaining Son or bringing in Son and Kane for Newcastle. I actually think that could be a really tough game. Tottenham, in your opinion, is it just avoid? I know you said you brought in Son for the price rises, but are you going to be keeping him though?
It's tricky. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure yet. I don't think they're that bad, And once Bale, I think that news of Bale turning up and that other fella they got, the left back.
Oh, Regulin.
I think that's going to galvanise them. I think that's what happened. It kind of sparked them up, and been so crap against Everton and that. So it's too early to say, I think. I mean, they could be really good. Like Arsenal could be really good as well. But I'm a bit biased because I like the London teams, so I'm a bit biased, I like Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham.
I don't know about Arsenal. They don't seem to be I don't know. I like teams that are free flowing, and there's something with Arsenal I just find. Again, I don't watch much football, but there's just something about them I just don't think they're that as free flowing as what I'd want them to be. You just mentioned Gareth Bale there. That there's a possibility that it could be Kane behind Bale and Son. For me, those two, Son and Bale, could absolutely tear it up if that's the consideration. Thoughts on Bale's price when he comes in? I'm thinking between 9.5 and 10.5 myself.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I mean, they couldn't really put him in at 8 million, could they? So he's going to be over 9, I think. And he's not going to be more than 10.5, is he? So you wouldn't have thought so. Playing for Tottenham. Yeah, I reckon about 10.5.
Are you excited for him joining Tottenham, or are you like quite a few people, which is just like, nah, he's a waste of space?
I think I'd be picking the ones around him rather than picking him, I think.
Oh, really?
Like you say, like Son or Kane even. But funny Kane getting 4 assists, wasn't it? Because he never normally gets assists.
They weren't.
Like,
they were just...
I couldn't watch it. You know, I wouldn't watch it.
It could have been anybody. Just kick a ball. You know, Southampton are based on the midfield. If anybody's got some pace, they'll jump on it. And as Son did, he was about as clinical as you could get. One final question. I've just seen the time. I need to get out of here. The conversation's just flowing. Just one final question, Triggerlaps. I've been asking a few people that have come on with their wild cards and just transferred everything. With your team as it stands right now, how many of the 11 are almost guaranteed to be there by Saturday deadline?
Probably about 6 or 7 of them, I'd say. Is that? Yeah, it's only more like the minor places that are undecided, like the defenders, 5th midfielder. I could go 3-5-2, but I haven't really made my mind up yet. I need to start thinking about that.
Yeah,
whether I want 3-4-3 or 3-5-2.
There's a lot of value in the strikers, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. I've got to think about people like Mick. I've had Mitrovic. I've got to decide whether I want to keep him or not. So
they got some
I think
good
he's
fixtures.
not too bad. Yeah. I don't think he's going to do too badly, to be honest. I mean, they're going to lose every game, but like the other day, he's still going to score a few goals.
He will indeed.
Funny thing of my wild card is I probably put it back to the team I've just wild card. It'll probably only be about 3 or 4 changes, to be honest.
When did you hit?
I didn't really need the wild card.
When did you actually hit the wild card button? Because I did it on Saturday.
When I saw that our son had scored 4 goals, I went on tilt and
just tore it up and away you go.
Yeah, basically.
Triggerlips.
I'll
go for it. Yeah.
I was sick of Rashford. I couldn't believe that I'd only just got Rashford in the day before, and I could see already that he was going to be dropping in price by this weekend. And I thought, I don't want to be looking at you all week. So I thought, I'm wildcarding, getting rid of him. And I always wildcard early anyway.
Yeah,
I think there was one year I finished 35th. And first week I was in the top 5,000 in the world. And I wildcarded after the first week. You know, so that's what I do. I wildcard early and I get it out of the way because it just does me head in having it there. You know, you're always like thinking, should I use it? Should I use it all the time? I'd rather just get rid of it.
When did you
have to think about it then?
Which year did you end up 35th?
Oh, I don't know. It was, I think 4 out of 5 years I was in the top 1,000 in a row, wouldn't I? And I got second in the Hall of Fame. And I think it's about 2015.
So very recent then. How did that feel being that high up? Because we've got another friend of our show, Davey FPL. He ended up 22nd 2 seasons ago. What's the pressure like for someone like yourself being that high up?
The weird thing is, once you get to about that sort of level, you don't really move much each week because there's like big gaps between all the teams. There used to be back then. There's only about 1 million people playing it then.
Yeah.
And there'd be like big gap. Because even though I was 35th, I was like still about 100 points behind the guy in the lead. Oh, wow. It's like really weird. And like I hardly moved. You know, once I got in the top 50, I'd like drop a couple of places or go up a couple of places. But it's like, you know, I think I had a big chance and Debussy got sent off, I think. And I think he got -4. Cost me -4, and that like
sounds like
totally
you're still bitter.
Blew it. I am, yeah. couldn't believe it. I think he let in about 4 goals and got sent off, and he just absolutely shocking it was.
Yeah.
But I haven't forgotten.
I don't
That was the year Michu and I forget his name now. That one with all the hair for Man United. What was his name?
Fellaini?
Firmino, yeah. And that was the year I finished 35th when they were all strutting about.
Incredible.
But the last 2 seasons, that was the thing with the blog too. I had a bad season, and you start getting loads of abuse, and it feels like you're under pressure. Feels like you get under pressure. You see what's happened to Late Riser this season. You know, he's gone public and he's become a celebrity in that, and then his team goes down the toilet, and you look on Twitter at all the abuse he's getting and stuff.
Really.
It's just not worth it, is it? I just got sick of it all.
So what kind of, I don't want to bring the tone down, but I always find these conversations because Late Riser occasionally does come into the stream. He does give me a shout out for some strange reason. He's always wishing me luck and stuff. But what kind of abuse is he kind of getting? I don't want you to go into specific details. Just the fact that he's just not having a good season.
Nothing terrible. You just get all the trolls come out, don't you? And like, you know what they're like.
Saying that he's not number 1 in the world, so you're rubbish. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
They'll ask him how he got on, like as if they didn't know. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And that type of thing.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate thing, and I mean it's even worse for like doing live streams and stuff. We're thankfully we've got some wonderful moderators that can deal with these idiots. But
it's not so bad for you because you're not like giving out tips and stuff, are you? So you don't sort of.
No, they just do it on my appearance. But by the way, in fact, I'll be deliberately doing another funny video this afternoon regarding my appearance. But Trigger Lips, I've really got to go. I've really got to get going, my friend. Trigger Lips, I'd really do appreciate you coming on, and hopefully you tune in and phone in again.
Yeah, it's good chatting to you. I'll have to have a listen in a minute, hear my awful voice and see what it sounds like.
It sounds absolutely fine. So long as I haven't muted you, that's the cool thing. Trigger Lips, really do appreciate you joining us.
Okay, cheers now. Cheers, everybody. I'll talk to you all later. Okay, bye for now.
Cheers, Trigger.
And, listening to my pod sometime. I'll do a pod in a day or two about this stream. How's that?
Yeah, why not? You do whatever you like, my friend. Where do we find your podcast? Because a lot of people have actually been asking about it.
Oh, I just live on my Twitter there. Yeah, there's usually one pinned to my Twitter page. They're all on SoundCloud as well.
Oh, brilliant! You do it via SoundCloud. Oh, that's brilliant. And there are only, like you said,
I don't get many listeners. I've been doing all right lately. I got about 3,000 a week listening.
Oh, nice.
So as long as I've got a couple of thousand listening in, and I keep doing them. If people stop listening, then I don't bother. So
at the end of the day, you've got a fan base. People want to hear you speak and telling it as it is. Really do appreciate you coming on.
Okay, cheers for now.
No, thank you.
Right, bye.
There's Trigger Lips there. An absolute joy having him on the show. And on that note, as I just stated, I've got to get the hell out of here. You'll understand why when I put up a funny video later on, which everybody's going to hate. Other than that, it's the usual story. Really do appreciate you guys joining me this morning for the breakfast show. And I don't have any idea when I'm next going to be on. I think it's just going to be with Jason on the preview show. We think we're doing it on Friday, so a bit of a change. Maybe on Friday that we're doing the preview show. Dan, just a quick one. Dan, where have you been? I've been expecting some replies to my voice messages. Have heard absolutely nothing from you. I thought you'd maybe have lost data or maybe have literally gone offline. But anyhow, tune into the Llama Lounge. The Llama Lounge on Thursday, 5 o'clock. Thursday, 5 o'clock, join the Llama Lounge where I'll be the guest. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be myself, Boona, Llama and Matt all having just a conversation, just having a laugh regarding fantasy football and me. Other than that, follow us on Twitter at Elite FPL. If you've enjoyed the stream, simply hit the like button. If you are completely brand new around here, enjoy the content myself and Jason produce, by all means, just simply hit that subscribe button. Other than that, we will see you soon. So, see you later.